Hello, hello, Facebook. Good evening. We are here again with one of our phenomenal women authors in the Love Letters to My Girls anthology. I'm Dr. Sharita Weatherspoon, founder of Spoon-Fed Motivation. And we've been talking about this project for a little bit now and just how amazing this project is going to be in terms of its impact and the response that we've been getting from everyone about the work that we're doing. And we just want to keep the momentum going. So, we're going live with these various author interviews, and the interviews have been great. As I said, phenomenal women. All of these women are powerhouse women in their own rights. Um, Diversity of authors. We have entrepreneurs, we have career oriented women, we have, work at home moms and stay at home moms, and we have ministers. We just powerful women who are doing their thing and whatever it is that they're doing. And they have come together to support us in this mission to inspire and encourage and motivate Black women and girls around the world. So tonight we are here with Tonya Horn, who is a diversity and inclusion champion. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight, Tonya.
Thank you. So glad to be here.
Awesome, awesome. So, you know, you joined up with this project, right?
Yes.
And there had to have been something that, moved you, not just the idea of, being part of a book, but being part of this book. What was it about this project that attracted you?
Well, when I first heard about it, I was so excited for the opportunity for a couple of reasons. One, just being able to have a voice and give my experience, my everything that I've gone through in life as a woman and passing it on. I often talk about how I wish the previous generation would have told me about certain things that we experience as women. And I feel like I've missed out on that. And I want to be able to give that to the next generation or even the people that are my peers. And that's one thing. But another thing is the experience that I had with my mom, who was my biggest cheerleader, my biggest champion. And she was so encouraging. She always believed in me more than I believed in myself. And that really kind of took me pretty far. And so I really wanted to be able to do that for others. And then the last thing is I love to write. I love to write. And so this was an opportunity for me I used to write a blog. I lived in Japan for a couple of years. And during that time, my friends always wanted to know what was going on with me. And so I created a blog and I really loved it. I had a number of followers that just really encouraged me. And so this was a great opportunity for me to continue that interest of mine in terms of writing.
Okay, great. Now, I like how you referenced how there were, things that you wish other women had shared with you.
Right.
Kind of like, I know other women have gone through this and no one could have warned me.
Right.
Yes, that's good because that is part of what this book is about. Obviously, we're sharing messages, right, that are designed to help our sisters, but some of those things are going to be written from, our own experiences, whereas other things are going to be written based on the fact that no one ever told us this, and I wish they had.
Right.
And I think that just goes back to the importance and the power of our words to impact people's lives.
Right.
Because literally, someone just sharing with you from their own experience and their wisdom probably could have saved you a lot of heartache.
Mm-hmm.
because I know that I'm in that situation.
Sure, for sure.
Yes, maybe save some time.
Right.
you know.
Exactly. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. So tell us what your letter is about.
So my letter is about fear.
Hmm.
And the reason why I chose fear is when I think back on my relationship that I had with my mom, and when I shared with you that she always believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. And so I feel like fear keeps us from our reaching our potential. It's a dream killer.
Hmm.
It steals our potential. And so I've gone through a lot of things in my life and quite a testimony that I can share. And one big thing around fear, when I set that aside, my fear is really fear for me, how it is tied to my faith. That's a big piece.
Hmm.
And how I lean on my faith to kind of get free of fear to allow me to do things that I would have never imagined to do.
Hmm.
And that's a story that I could share with regards to how I even ended up in Japan,
Hmm.
because I let go of the fear and listened to God and my faith and directing me. And so that's why I chose that story, or that subject, fear, to
Hmm.
kind of help people get past it and how they can go about doing that.
That's good. So you said two really powerful things there. The first was about fear stealing your potential,
Mm-hmm.
and that's big because people, I think, so many times we are directed by fear and
Right.
not even realizing it. We come up with these different excuses. So
Right.
I'm not ready. It's not time. I don't have the support. All of these things, and but if you really get down to it, it's about fear.
Right.
It's
We
about
become
fear.
complacent,
Hmm.
and that keeps us stuck. Right.
Yes, yes. So you don't get what you want. You don't
Right.
have the life that you desire. You don't get to fulfill or manifest all of the potential that is already
Exactly.
inside of you.
Right. Exactly.
It's so big. I said, and I think I said it in one of the other interviews, but I say this all the time that everything you desire is on the other side of fear,
Right. Right.
right?
So
And
true.
then you talked about faith and
Hmm.
fear, right?
Right.
Which we know they can't simultaneously
No, they
exist.
cannot. No, they cannot. If you claim that you believe in God and you have faith, and you're fearful, then you're not leaning on your faith. And God
Hmm.
doesn't like that. So they
Right,
don't go together. Yes.
right, right. So you ultimately are making a decision, even if you don't intentionally make a decision, to either operate in fear or operate in faith.
That's true. Right.
And when we make the unintentional decision, it is usually to operate in fear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes,
So I
yes.
really want to share my story in what I write about how I got over.
Hmm.
And it's something that you have to work at.
Hmm.
It's a constant thing, every time I do something different. Sometimes if I kind of branch out in a new territory, I question myself.
Hmm.
But what I do is I go in prayer, and I know that God has always, been there for me, and really given me the courage to do the things. And even when I get to the point where I have self doubt, and God had opened a door for me, and I pray about it, and I'm like, God, I know you did not bring me this far
Right,
for me to fail. So I'm gonna need you to help me out. And
right.
so that always gets me through. Always gets me.
Yes, yes. Well, the thing is, the God that called you to something is he's not going to let you fail,
Right. Exactly.
you know. Um, that does not mean that it won't be hard, that you won't be challenged, that you
Mhm.
won't have failures,
Right.
but having failures going through the process does
Mhm.
not mean that you are going to fail.
Right. It's a learning lesson. It's a learning lesson.
Right.
And one of the things that I've learned is if I step up God will show up. But if I, don't take the opportunity to take the steps that I need to take, he has that
Mhm.
expectation of us. And
Right.
so if I do that, I know that he's going to show up and help me get through it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. This is good, Tanya. So, what is, one major takeaway that you want the reader of your letter
Mhm.
to have after reading, those 600 words? What's one thing that you want them to walk away with?
You know, one as I've been thinking about what I want to write, it's so important for us to surround ourselves with people who are going to encourage us, and be there for us, motivate us, things of that nature. So it's so important to get around those type of people so that they can be there to as you walk through your journey. And as you said, it's not always going to be easy, but you can't give
Mhm.
up. And there were a lot of things that I was always afraid to do when I was younger. And my mom would always say, "You're doing it." She would always push me
Mhm.
to do things that that were going to be uncomfortable for me.
Mhm.
But I'm glad she did, and
Right.
because she did that, because she instilled that in me, now I intentionally put myself in situations where I'm uncomfortable. For
Mhm.
example, in my job, every job that I've ever had, I've always had to get up in front of people and speak. And
Mhm.
it's something I do not like to do. I'm not comfortable doing it, but I know I have to do it. So I intentionally put myself in situations where I volunteer for things, to have to get up in front of folks to speak. And
Mhm.
so that's one of the ways that I conquer my fear. I know it's there. I know it exists. So I test myself, if you will. I stretch myself, if you will.
Mhm.
So that's important. That's one of the things that I want people to walk away with, to have that courage, and that courage comes from encouragement from others.
Mm, okay, okay. So there was another lesson in what you shared, um, which boils down to getting comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Right, for sure. Yeah.
Um, I I think there's this kind of myth or this fallacy that exists where people think that if you've reached a certain level of success, that things are easy,
Right.
that you're just operating in flow, and
Mhm.
there's no worries.
Right. They just don't know.
Right, right, but it you still are going to experience some discomfort because you've entered a new level. There's new things to learn, different expectations. People are always judging you, regardless of
Right.
where you are, however, how successful you are or not.
Right.
And all of those things bring with it their discomforts,
Mm-hmm.
but if you want to accomplish certain things or experience certain things, you have to be okay with being uncomfortable.
Right.
And while you may get comfortable at some point in a certain level, you still don't want to stay there.
Right.
That means it's
Exactly.
time to set your sights on something else,
Right.
something higher, because now you will be used the word earlier, complacent.
Right. And I, years ago, before I moved to Japan, I became complacent. I worked for a company for 9 years, probably to this day is one of the best jobs I ever had in my life.
Hmm.
But it was time for me to move, but I wouldn't. And so I ended up getting downsized
Hmm.
because, one of the things that I tell people is God moved me because I would not move myself, because I had become complacent.
Right.
And when I was going through it at the time, I didn't know what was, to come. And what was to come was the one of the best opportunities
Hmm.
for me. I was able to find a job in Okinawa, Japan, and this was something that I would have never ever thought that I could do.
Right.
would even look into doing.
Right.
And it was such a blessing when I came out of that complacency, if you will, and just said, okay, God, I hear you. I'm going to, whatever you need me to do, whatever you want me to do, I'm going to follow. And I'm going to stretch my faith and I'm going to do it. And so I ended up moving to Japan and did not know a soul. And it was probably one of the best opportunities ever in my career.
Yes, yes, yes. So I'm looking at the comments. Corinne says, God can't order steps you won't take. That's real good.
I like that. I like that.
That's real good. I might have to steal that, Corinne.
Exactly. Me too.
She also says, yes, living on the other side of fear is where life begins and faith is everything. It absolutely is. Yeah, so if faith is everything, what does that make fear?
Right. Faith crushes it.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. Laverne says, what a journey. Yeah, I think in another conversation, we're going to have to get into this Okinawa.
Okay. Okay.
Because that's intriguing.
Yeah. It was probably one of the best opportunities I've ever had in my life in terms of my career, and just it opened so many doors to me. I love to travel, so I travel the world. I go somewhere every year out of the country because of that experience.
Yeah. Yes. That's a lesson in and of itself too.
Oh, it is. It definitely is.
About getting out of your comfort zone, traveling internationally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that broadens your horizons in so many different ways.
Right.
Exposure equals expansion.
Right. That's a good one.
Yeah. All right. So I am sure there are women who are watching this interview now or who are going to watch it later who are going to be inspired by the work that we're doing with the Love Letters Project. But something is going to give them pause. They're going to hesitate on, raising their hand to join us on this mission. It might be because, they're not an author, they're not a blogger, they're not a good writer. They may be a little uncomfortable with the idea of, being seen, visibility that might come from this, or there could just be these old scripts running in their mind that's telling them that, they're not good enough to do something like this. They wouldn't be accepted, just all of the nonsense that poisons her mindset. Right. What would you say to a woman like that about participating in this project?
I would say just step out on faith, kind of what we've been talking about. There's so much each of us has to offer to the next generation or to our fellow sister. We learn so much from each other, and our silence doesn't help us. It could be comforting to someone else. And so we all have a story to share. I definitely have so many testimonies that I could share with people, that I'm proud to share with people, to help encourage them. The things, I've had a lot of ups and downs in my life, and just being able to share that commonality with someone kind of helps people move on to the next level. So I definitely encourage people. I have told a lot of my friends about this opportunity, share it with family and friends, and hope that they will join us in this. I'm just so excited about this. If you are a lover of women, a lover of Black women, this is a great opportunity that you just don't want to miss out on. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. And I appreciate you sharing the project with your network.
Yeah.
So let's see. Angie said, great mom. So applaud your mom.
She was. She's not here with us today, but she instilled a lot of good wisdom, and I want to pass that on.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
She also says that she loves Japan as well. So okay, yes, because we
She knows.
Angie is a world traveler. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes. So I want to ask you before I kind of summarize things and close
Okay.
out the interview to share some inspiring words with our viewers, those watching
Mhm.
live, those who are watching the replay. Doesn't necessarily have to be related to the book, but just leave them with some encouraging or motivating words.
Okay. Well, one thing that I read, someone sent me at work that really spoke to me. I want to um, read this quote, and it was a
Mhm,
quote written by Kobe Bryant.
mhm,
And he said, try and inspire people so that they can be great at whatever they want to do. And that really spoke to me because my journey in terms of my mom was an inspiration to me, and she
mhm,
always wanted better for me. And so I want to give that back. I have always been involved with working with college students and high school students. And right now, at my job, I'm in charge of diversity and inclusion recruitment, and I come up with strategies of how we can um, diversify our workforce. And one of the things that we're doing is we created a mentoring program, and so we're mentoring high school diverse students and students that I recognize that they need a little push, they need a little encouragement. They have so much to offer to the world. They just don't know what it is and how to get there. And so that's so important to me to be able to give back to this. I'm just all for the youth, and they're our generation, next generation, and we have to prepare them in whatever they want to do in their lives and give them direction. So that's what is so important to me to continue to give back. That's my mission.
mhm,
Um, Definitely, one of the things that I love to do is helping people get to their destination, whatever route that is that they want to
mhm,
take.
mhm. All right. Well, thank you so much for that.
You're
So,
welcome.
for all of you who have joined us live or watching the replay, we're talking about the Love Letters to My Girls 100 Black Women Speak to the Hearts of Black Women and Girls anthology project. And Tonya Horn is one of our contributing authors. She is one of the 100.
Yes.
All right. Now, the question is, ladies, will you be one of the 100? All right. Now, we are getting very close to that number. And we have already far surpassed the minimum number of authors required for the book to move forward. So we are definitely a go. So if you've been waiting, for social proof or something like that, you've got it. We are knocking on 70 authors right now, but I know that we can get to 100, but we need your help to do that. So if what we're doing, this work is resonating with you in some way, it's touching your heart, you are thinking of, experiences that you've had, or just words that you would want to share with another sister to help them on their journey, I want you to consider joining us on this project. You can learn more about the contributing author partnership with us at smpl.ro/love letters. I will make sure that that URL is in the description so you can get to it easily. And just, check out the page, register if if you know that you want to be a part. If you have questions, you can reach out to me here on Facebook, and I will answer your questions. But registration is closing on March 1st, so you don't have a lot of time to partner up with us to help spread this message of sisterhood, and power and motivation and inspiration to Black women and girls literally all over the world. Now, this is really more than just a book. Yes, we're going to publish the book, and the book is going to be great, but we want to make sure that this book has major impact. So we are going to be doing some crowdfunding activities to give donated books to organizations and groups that serve Black women and girls around the world. So there will be opportunities, other opportunities to support this project if you decide not to partner with us as a contributing author, or if you're a man and can't be a contributing author but still want to support what we're doing, you'll be able to help us through the crowdfunding with um, being able to fulfill the request for donated books. And we're also going to be doing at least two scholarships. Some of the profits from our virtual launch, which will be in the fall, are going to go towards funding at least two scholarships for two women, two Black women, one young woman, 21 and under, and one over 21. The funds will be able to be used for education, training, or business startup. And then there are a couple other things that we are working on, and once they're finalized, we'll be announcing those as well. But it's more than a book. It is a movement, and we need you to get behind this movement and help push it forward so that we can touch the lives of as many women and girls who need to be touched through this project. So if you want to support us in another way and just keep up to date with the progress of the project, help us with the crowdfunding activities, even give your input on the book cover design and our t-shirt design and all of that extra fun stuff, you can go to loveletterstomygirls.com and sign up to join our newsletter. And we will send you periodic updates about what's going on and how you can support us in getting the word out about the project and funding the donations for the books as well. So I am going to thank you all right now for the support that you're going to give us. And thank you for joining us for another interview. And thank Tonya for taking time out of her busy schedule for being here.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. So, as always, I just want to remind you of how powerful your words are. In your words lies the power to heal, to uplift, to inspire, and to save another person's life. So, go ignite the power in your words. Thank you all, and good night.
Good night.